Who's staying home? Who's staying home? Which English footballers are staying home during the Euros 2021? Hey everyone, it is Finn here, and yes, I know that tune isn't as catchy as the 2018 World Cup one, but you know what? It could still work, and it is definitely more descriptive of what today's video will be about, because ladies and gentlemen, in today's video, I will be telling you my 23-man list of who England should take to the Euros this year to get as far as possible. Now, please do remember that this is obviously my opinion of which goalkeepers, defenders, midfielders, and attackers England should take to the Euros. And obviously, this is football, this is just my opinion. So just like my dating life, I am ready to disappoint a few of you. Now, obviously, people absolutely everywhere from footballers to YouTubers have been naming their list for who they would take to the Euros. So you know what, I thought I would give it a chance, and please do remember, if you disagree with any of the names that I will mention, tough luck. And also please do name in the comment section down below what you disagree with me with and which player you would take in their place. And before I get into the video, I want to ask you guys a question of the video. Where do you think England will place in the Euros this year? Do you think they'll win the competition overall into the finals, the semi-finals? Or do you think they won't even go to the Euros because Harry Maguire will get his fat head stuck in the airplane and they won't even be able to leave the airport? Let me know where you think they'll end in the comment section down below. Now, to start off my England team, we will be looking at the goalkeepers that I would take to the Euros. Now, I feel like I've gone for the same three goalkeepers that majority of people would go for. I've gone for Jordan Pickford, Dean Henderson, and Nick Pope. The same three goalkeepers that I think a lot of people would go for. Now, I know I've missed some big names like McCarthy, John Stone, Kyle Walker, but I do feel like these three goalkeepers are the most reliable, and I feel like they are going to be competent in doing the job. Obviously, Nick Pope been strong for Burnley once again this year. Dean Henderson been excellent for Manchester United. And Jordan Pickford, yes, he has been injured for a month, but you know what? He can do the job for Everton. Obviously, he is injured at the moment, but he should be back for the Euros, which lots of Liverpool fans will say it is karma for what he did to Virgil van Dijk. Look, I'm not going to say whether I agree with that or not. All I am going to say is I didn't know it was possible to both look like you were bullied in school and that you were the bully itself. Impressive, Jordan Pickford. But you know what, I think looking at those three English goalkeepers, I think England would be happy to start any one of them. I think all of them have that ability to start for England, and I think England are going to be comfortable with them. So yeah, those are the three goalkeepers that I would choose for England. I feel like any one of those three goalkeepers can start. They are that good, and I feel like you guys are relatively happy with my choices so far. But you know what, just like most things in my life, I'm going to end that happiness right there, because it is time for my defender selections for the Euros. Which defender selections? Why does it sound like a car part? I'm not too sure, and no, I do not know much about cars. So let's move on from that. But the defenders that I would take to the Euros, a lot of you guys are going to hate me for this, and I can already hear some of you guys clicking off the videos. But the defenders that I'll take to the Euros for England: John Stones, Harry Maguire, Tyrone Mings, Michael Keane, Luke Shaw, Ben Chilwell, Trent Alexander-Arnold, and Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Now I can already hear you guys saying, why would you choose Aaron Wan-Bissaka? Why would you choose this player, this player, this player? Well guys, before you click off the video, let me explain my reasoning. First off, starting on the top of the list, John Stones obviously been the best centre-back in the Premier League this season. In my opinion, I feel like he is defender number one that has to play a crucial role for England. And I think if you told Gareth Southgate a year ago that his two main centre-backs would be Harry Maguire and John Stones, I think he would have left England to become the Inter Miami assistant coach for the under-16s. But you know what? Very strong partnership. In fact, as I said, John Stones has been very good this season. And Harry Maguire, look, I'm a Manchester United fan. You don't have to tell me that he's not that good. I watch him on a regular basis. I know he's not worth being the most expensive defender of all time. I know that. I know he's no Virgil van Dijk. Guys, I watch him on a regular basis. I can hear you guys tapping, telling me in the comment section down below. You can stop now. I said stop. But you know what? At the end of the day, Harry Maguire has a leadership quality. He always does well for England, in my opinion, at least 99% of the time. He is very reliable for England. He has his moments as a centre-back where he can be rock solid. He is an aerial threat. And because of that, I still think he is a very solid option for England. Third centre-back option, obviously, would be Tyrone Mings. I mean, I personally am not a huge fan of him. But once again, has leadership quality to him. Is an aerial threat. Can be very tricky to get past. My only worry is the fact that position-wise, he's not the greatest, which, I mean, I've definitely heard that complaint enough times in my life.
Why would you say that?
There's some things I shouldn't share with you guys. And the fourth and final centre-back option that I would go for is going to be Michael Keane from Everton, who I've said this many times. I think he's such a complete centre-back over the last 2-3 years. He's been excellent for Everton. I know lots of people would like to see Connor Cody from Wolves. But in my opinion, guys, don't forget this is my opinion. Please don't try to tell me that my opinion is wrong. But I do think that Michael Keane does deserve to play over Connor Cody. I think Keane has more experience, has been very good. And I think that he has proven multiple times that he should play for the England squad. But yes, I'm somewhat comfortable with my centre-back options. I know no one is going to agree with all of them. But you know what? The problem comes with my fullbacks. I feel like with my fullback options, someone genuinely might try burn down my house, which please don't try that. But left-back-wise, I think people are going to be comfortable because Luke Shaw's been the next Roberto Carlos so far this season, and if he doesn't win the Ballon d'Or, we're going to need a VAR check. But you know what, between him and Chilwell, I think England are fully sorted. Obviously, as I said, Luke Shaw being the best left back in the Premier League this season. Chilwell, although hasn't been as good as I expected for Chelsea, attacking wise been solid. He's had some brilliant moments. Left back sorted for England, but it is when you get to the right backs where I can hear people clicking off this video already, because both right backs I've gone for, neither of them were chosen for England in the recent international break, which that's either very stupid or very brave of me. But I still believe that Trent Alexander-Arnold is the best right back option for England. He should start for England because on his day is the best right back in the world. I know he hasn't been excellent this season, but he showed versus Aston Villa he still has what it takes. I mean, just because he hasn't been that good this season, I mean, Liverpool in general haven't been. We cannot forget that over the last 2 years, he was the best right back in the world. He still has that ability, and the way England plays with high right wing backs, with high full backs, the way they might even play him even as a right mid option, I feel like Trent Alexander-Arnold really fits in the system and will do well for England. Now it's when we get to the second right back option that I will be attacking, and that is why I've been stalling when it comes to my right backs, because I know people will have questions. How can you put Wan-Bissaka over Kyle Walker and Reece James? Well, I'll tell you why. I personally feel like, guys, remember my opinion, but I do feel like if you compare him to Kyle Walker defensively this season, I feel like Aaron Wan-Bissaka has been better. I think Kyle Walker can be a very complete player. I feel like he has a lot of pace to him, but I feel like they need more defensive right back options like Aaron Wan-Bissaka, because in my opinion, as someone who watches him week in, week out, there is no one better at stopping one-on-ones. There is no better defensive right back in the entire world, in my opinion, than Aaron Wan-Bissaka. So you know what? Because they've got an attacking option like Trent, they need a defensive option like Aaron. That is why I've chosen Wan-Bissaka over Kyle Walker. If you feel differently, obviously that's your opinion. I won't disagree with you. I wouldn't be surprised if Kyle Walker was chosen. He's got experience, which is the only reason why I wouldn't pick Aaron Wan-Bissaka, is because he doesn't have that experience on the international stage. But you know what? Kyle Walker can play centre back, can play right back. I mean, maybe he can even play goalkeeper. We've seen that many times before. But you know, I wouldn't be surprised if Kyle Walker made it. But for me personally, I have to go for Aaron Wan-Bissaka. And in terms of Reece James or Kieran Trippier, once again, I think Trippier is a serious shout. And in terms of Reece James, I think he's a very good right back option. But in terms of the complete defensive right back, Aaron Wan-Bissaka is just the better option for me. Okay, finally, we are done with the defenders, which I feel like I genuinely sweated 5 kilograms out because of stress, because of that. But I do feel like you guys will agree more with me when it comes to my midfielders, because the midfielders I have chosen will include the likes of Declan Rice, Jordan Henderson, Calvin Phillips, Phil Foden, Mason Mount, and Lord Jesse Lingard. That's right, I feel like future Ballon d'Or winner Jesse Lingard will be selected, and obviously that means some big names will miss out. That means I think James Maddison might miss out, and the likes of James Ward-Prowse, and I feel like between Lingard and James Maddison, I feel like either one of them could be selected, if not both. They are both that good, and I feel like it is such a competitive position that you really can't complain which one gets selected. I personally have just gone for Lingard because his statistics have been crazy as of late. What, like 8 games in the Premier League for West Ham, 6 goals, 3 assists. Very tricky to beat that, along with the fact that Lingard can play left wing. So you know what, whether it's Lingard or James Maddison, I think either one of them goes. And obviously James Ward-Prowse, I've heard people say,
oh yeah, England should choose James Ward-Prowse because he's great at set pieces and he could score a lot for England set piece wise.
What are you going to do? Get a foul, bring James Ward-Prowse on, get him to score the free kick, then take him off? No, I don't think that's how it works. Look, he's a great player, but I feel like there are more complete midfielder options for England. Obviously, defensive midfield-wise, I mean, their best midfielder might not even actually be English in the likes of Declan Rice. But you know what? When he's back from injury, he's a very solid defensive midfielder option. He's been great so far this season. Jordan Henderson hasn't been that great, but that's because he's been playing out of position for Liverpool. But you know what? When he does play as a midfielder, once again, got leadership qualities to him. He always wins the ball back in the midfield. Dangerous header off the ball. I think Jordan Henderson is a certain must for England. Phillips, I feel like, is one of those players who might be overlooked. I feel like Eric Dyer might be selected because he's got more England experience. But you know what? Phillips has been absolutely superb for Leeds United so far this season. For the last 2-3 years, he's been great for them. He's young, he's fresh, he's got a lot of pace to him. He's a very smart, intelligent defensive midfielder. And I would like to see what he can do at the Euros. Obviously, then the two midfielders I haven't mentioned yet. Obviously, Phil Foden has shown that he can show up in the big games versus Liverpool in the Premier League versus Borussia Dortmund in the Champions League. Phil Foden is really going to be a superstar one day. He really has shown that he can play in the big games, and that could be huge for England and is a certain must, in my opinion, to be in the squad, along with the final midfielder, Mason Mount, who I've said this many times before. I think he'll be better than Frank Lampard was at Chelsea. Maybe not necessarily trophy-wise, because that has to do with the whole team in general. But I do think Mason Mount, number-wise, is incredible and has been Chelsea's best player so far this season. And he is looking like a superstar. I think that this midfield that I've created for England, if this midfield is chosen, I feel like it can threaten a lot of teams. Now, to end off this incredible English squad for the Euros that I would select, we've got the attack. And the attack I'm about to show you guys, it's a deadly one. As a defense, I would hate to go against this because it is going to be Harry Kane, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Marcus Rashford, Raheem Sterling, Jack Grealish, and Jadon Sancho, which is going to be such an incredible attack to go against, and I can't see many teams keeping a clean sheet versus this attack. Obviously, first up would be Harry Kane, obviously the top goal scorer and assist maker in the Premier League this season. Look, he's just been a different animal this season, and if he does well at the Euros, obviously he's the captain of England, I think he would have been selected anyway, but if he does well at the Euros, genuine contender for the Ballon d'Or this season. I don't know what he changed this season, but he's been a different animal. But maybe, I don't know, maybe he sprayed Marouane Fellaini's hairspray on his legs to be less fragile this season. But backup striker option obviously would be Dominic Calvert-Lewin, in my opinion. He's been excellent this season. I think he's taken a lot of tips from Duncan Ferguson. Striker-wise, he's really shown himself this season. 4 goals already for England is a certain must, in my opinion, which obviously does mean no Watkins or Bamford for England. I feel like it's very, very close, but they just don't make the cut, in my opinion. Third attacker, as I said, would be Marcus Rashford. He is a regular in this England squad. No, he doesn't have the same numbers as he did last season, but for England, he always performs. For Manchester United, although his numbers aren't there, he is a very strong player. He always does perform. I think he's very, very capable of doing the job. And as I said, he's already a regular, so I don't see why you need to change it. Same goes for the next attacker, being Raheem Sterling. A very frustrating player to watch. Look, nothing's guaranteed with Raheem Sterling, except for the fact that he runs like a dinosaur drying his nails. But numbers, not always guaranteed. We saw that in the 2018 World Cup, where he went completely invisible. But at the end of the day, Raheem Sterling is a very talented player, very talented attacker, can be very, very tricky to defend against, and that's why I have to put him in this England squad. Same goes for the likes of Jack Grealish, although not a regular, very tricky to defend against, and we've seen that over the last year or two in the Premier League, that although, look, Aston Villa didn't do that well last season, Jack Grealish was the shining light. Luckily, Aston Villa have lifted themselves up as a team this season, but still, Jack Grealish, when he is match ready, is the shining light, and I think he could add a lot of value to this England squad. And obviously, the last attacker, man number 23 in the squad, would be Jadon Sancho. Once again, like a few other players that I've mentioned, his numbers aren't as good as last season, but let's not forget, last season, he got more than 20 goals and more than 20 assists in the Bundesliga. We can't overlook that just because his numbers aren't as good this season. His numbers are still good. I think he could be the missing piece for England on that right wing side or right mid side. He could be a deadly threat, very tricky to defend against, just like majority of this England attack. And I feel like if England put this attack forward, they could be unstoppable. Which, ladies and gentlemen, that is my England 23-man squad. Once again, I know I'm not going to make everyone happy, that's just how football works. But once again, if you have any disagreements with me, tell me down in the comment section down below what you disagree with. Obviously, tell me where you think England will face in the Euros. And you know what? I'm pretty proud of the squad that I've put forward. I think it could be a very, very deadly squad, and I'm very happy with the majority of the picks that I've put forward. Obviously, if you're new to this channel and you are not subscribed, make sure that you do subscribe down below. I'd really appreciate it. Along with hitting that like button, can we get this video to 10 likes? But guys, this is my England 23-man squad. Is it coming home?